I'm Dr. Joe Esposito, and welcome to our podcast, For the Health of It, episode 17. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast, and you'll never miss an episode on how to naturally get well and stay well.
The information presented on this program is not intended to take the place of your personal physician's advice, and it is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Discuss this information with your own physician or healthcare provider to determine what is right for you.
Are you suffering needlessly? Dr. Joe can give you advice on how to naturally get well and stay well. Dr. Joe Esposito.
Last time we got together, I did a show and I did 1-minute tips. There's things that you can do to get healthy in 60 seconds or less. Well, turns out that was extremely popular. So what I will do today, is we're going to do another show just like that with new tips. Because there's so many things that you can do to get healthy. And patients come to our offices every single day and talk to our doctors. And they say, Dr. Irwin, Dr. Kat, Dr. Gail, Dr. Dave, I want to get well. What can I do to get well? Well, that's a pretty wide open statement. Of course, the number one thing I would recommend is have a normally functioning nervous system, a normally functioning digestive system, and good nutrition. That's the protocol that I always put together for my patients. Because if you have a normally functioning nervous system, again, we're chiropractors, so we want to work on a nervous system. If your digestive system is able to absorb nutrients and pass out waste products, that's going to help tremendously. And then if you're putting the right nutrients in the body, you now have a healthcare plan. Most people don't have a healthcare plan. Many people have health insurance, but that's not a healthcare plan. That's to pay for the healthcare plan. So I want to give you tools that you can use every day to get well and stay well. So what else is there? I remember years ago, George Carlin did a bit, if you're old enough to remember, the 7 words you can never say on television. And I won't say them, of course, because you can't say them on radio either. And it was funny. And then a couple of years later, George Carlin said, I was wrong. There's other words you can't say on television. I remember the scene. He rolls out this scroll across the stage and he just starts reading all these other words you can't say on television. Well, it turns out that normally functioning nervous system, normally functioning digestive system, and good nutrition are the big ones. But there's other things that you can do every day as well. And you can incorporate all of these. You can incorporate none of them. You can incorporate some of them. But start moving in the direction to get well and stay well. I promise you, you will never, ever in the history of the universe make a better investment. People talk about the stock market. It's up, it's down. Should I invest in Bitcoin? Should I invest in stocks? How about bonds? Maybe tax-free munis? Well, the best investment you could ever make in your life is going to be in your health. And so that's what we're going to do, is just go one after another here, real rapid fire. And if you have questions, by the way, you can always send them to me through my website, drjoeesposito.com. I'm more than happy to answer your questions for you because everybody has healthcare questions. And that's what's cool about this show. Not only is it the number one health and wellness radio broadcast in the country, to the best of my knowledge, but we don't have a demographic. Demographic is who listens to your show. Well, everybody has healthcare concerns, young, old, black, white, male, female, fat, skinny, doesn't matter. People have healthcare concerns. And so that's why it's really neat when you look at listenership. And we've got preteens and teens. I had a patient come in a couple of weeks ago and he said, this is my 4-year-old daughter. He says, and I think there's something wrong with her. And I said, what's wrong? He said, instead of watching cartoons, she goes to your website and watches the videos of your lectures. And then she quotes you. And my heart melted. I was so happy to hear that. And she just looked at me and these eyes, she looks like she was looking at Mickey Mouse for the first time, these big eyes. And she was so excited and she gave me a big hug. And that's really exciting that a young child is listening to these lectures and getting information from it. I had a patient come in the other day. She's just about 100 years old. And her family said she won't do anything unless you tell her to. You're her doctor. And I'd never met this lady before. And I was like, that was really cool too. So there's a lot of good information across the board. So let's start throwing out some rapid fire ideas on things you can do to get well and stay well. And one thing I want you to do is get the ants out of your life. Ants? What do you mean? Like those little critters? No. Automatic negative thoughts. Those are called ants. They trigger anxiety. And when you have anxiety, you produce a hormone called cortisol. And when cortisol is released into your body, short term is good. Long term, very dangerous. So I want you to get the ants out of your life. So when you have a negative thought, or if you're a negative thinker, Or if you worry a lot, anybody like that? I worry a lot. So here's my little trick, and it works wonders. I get little sticky notes, and they've got these new kind, which I just adore. If there's such a thing you can adore, sticky note, is they have glue across the whole back of the note. And this way, as I had put them on my dashboard, I put them in my house, and they'd fall off. These stick to just about anything. And now they have new ones. I got to try them with extra strength sticky. Ooh, how exciting. I know, I don't have much of a life, right? This excites me. But whenever I have a thought, I write it down. And in fact, looking even here at the studio, I have 5 sticky notes sitting in front of me that I thought of before I started going on the air of things that I need to do. I write them down. I stick them on my dashboard, stick them on my bedpost, stick them on in my bathroom, stick them in my office. And one of the weird things that I enjoy is when I get to throw away the sticky note. I accomplish this job and I throw it away. So if you're somebody who has negative thoughts, if you're somebody who worries a lot and you worry that you're going to forget things, write down little sticky notes and it'll remind you to do them. And then you can forget, because a lot of times at night I'll wake up going, ooh, there's a great idea. Ooh, here's an idea for a show. Ooh, this is what I got to do for this patient. Write it down, stick it next to my bed on my nightstand, go back to sleep. Wake up in the morning. Many times I can't read them, actually, to be honest with you, but then I can sleep better. Get a smaller plate. You want to lose weight? Get a smaller plate. I was on a cruise a while ago. I love cruises. I was on a cruise a while ago, and I noticed they used to have these platters on this one cruise line I've went on a few times, and I always thought, these are awfully big plates. And if you look on some of the cruises, you know why they have big plates. They've got big people. But they went to smaller plates, and I thought that was brilliant. Because you will eat less if you have a smaller plate. And if you have a full plate, a lot of people, myself included, were taught, clean your plate. Don't waste food. So a big plate, you're going to eat more food. Smaller plate, you're going to eat that and go, I'm good. I'm full. And studies have shown that if you have a smaller plate, you think that you're eating more, which is true. Another trick to kind of spin off this one is I want you to eat your salads first and your vegetables first. All the good stuff. Because when you're hungry, you don't make good decisions. Anybody else do that aside from me? I bet you do. You don't make good decisions when you're hungry. And so when you're hungry, you might say, oh, I'm going to eat the cake first. I'm going to eat the meat, or I'm going to eat the cheese, or I'm going to eat the pizza. I want you to have your salad first and your vegetables. Then, hopefully 20 minutes or so will pass. The stomach will produce a hormone called leptin. Leptin will go up to the brain, into the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus will tell you that you're full and you won't eat as much. And then you can make more logical decisions. So a big plate, a smaller plate, but full of salad. And if I go to there's places that are salad bars, and many times they have food bars too. Now, I don't eat animal products, so it kind of limits how much I can eat anyway. But I'll have sometimes soup. I'll have vegan soups, and I'll eat that. But I like to have my salad first, and then I can make better decisions. So fill up on the good stuff first and use a smaller plate, and chances are you'll start to lose weight. It's pretty cool how that works. You can do a 10-second health check. Instead of popping your contacts in, a lot of people wear contacts. I used to, and then I decided, I don't care. I have to get by on my brains. I don't have to get by on my looks. Take a look at them. And if they're getting coated very quickly with fat, it could be a sign of a cardiovascular issue. Contacts have been found to change your eye's natural bacteria. Now, a diet full of fat and protein and alcohol, it weakens the tear's abilities to block cholesterol from adhering to your lenses. So the results could be cloudy deposits on your contact lenses. So if your diet is destroying your contacts, imagine what it's doing to your body. So it's just a little trick there. So what we're talking about today, in case you're just tuning in, we're talking about things that you can do to get well and stay well in 60 seconds or less. And I was told when I first got into radio, make sure you always review what you're talking about so that listeners tune in and tune out all the time. You want to make sure they know what they're talking about. Take a good look at your food before you eat it, and then I want you to smell your food. Well, that sounds a little weird, doesn't it? The reason I say that is when you smell your food, it makes the food taste better. 90% of your taste is in your smell. Now, you don't think about that, of course. You just pop food in your mouth and you can chew it. But what happens when you have a cold or the flu and your sinuses are stuffy? Well, you can't taste anything. Tongue isn't being affected, your sinuses are. So smell your food. And when you do that, you're going to enjoy your food more, and chances are you're going to eat less. It's pretty cool. I talk about supplements a lot. If you've listened to my shows before, you talk about supplements. I recommend that everybody take Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source with some limitations. And that's the core nutrients. That's the basis, the beginning of a good health plan. So Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source, they're 2 powders. They taste great. Complete multivitamin, fruits and vegetables in a powder form, prebiotics, probiotics, digestive enzymes, omega-3 fatty acids. And that's one of the supplements I think everybody should take every day. They're 2 powders. They take a scoop of each. I also recommend you make sure you get enough omega-3 fatty acids in your body. Now, omega-3 fatty acids are good for you. They're good for your brain. They're good for your cells. They're good for your immune system. And what's the first thing you think of? When you say omega-3s, you think of taking what? Fish or fish oil. Exactly. Well, I have a problem with that. So I'm going to recommend you do take omega-3s, but not from fish. And if you do take it from fish, which some people, okay, if you want to do fish, I'm going to tell you what kind of fish to take. So what you want to do is make sure that you're getting the right kind. Now, fish oil may have mercury in it. And mercury is a problem for a lot of people, if you're alive, because there's zero benefits to having mercury in your body. So if you're doing fish, you run the risk of having mercury. So you want to make sure that the fish oil is certified mercury-free. If it's not certified mercury-free, you don't want to eat it. Not a good idea. So better choice might be krill oil. Now, krill oil is it's in phospholipid form, and the phospholipid form is easier to absorb. In fact, the fish oil has to be converted into a phospholipid form in order for you to absorb it. So krill oil might be a better choice and lower risk of mercury toxicity. The best choice is the most expensive choice, unfortunately, and that would be algae oil. Now, fish don't produce omega-3 fatty acids. Fish get it from eating smaller fish who eat smaller fish, who eat krill, who eat algae. So the algae is the source of the omega-3 fatty acids that you need. I take algae oil every day. I take about 1 gram a day. So it's more expensive. So in order, fish, if it has mercury in it, if it's certified mercury-free, well, okay. Krill, better choice. It's in a phospholipid form, and then algae oil is the best form. But we've seen a lot of studies showing that it can help reverse the risk of dying from some sudden cardiovascular disease, helps the brain, good for you, helps the immune system, and you want to do about 1 gram a day. I know the recommended daily allowance is less than that, but I recommend about 1 gram a day. Now, when you look at the daily recommended allowances, that's the minimum amount you need to prevent a disease from happening. Like, for example, vitamin C. The minimum amount of vitamin C you need to prevent rickets. Well, okay, but what about staying healthy? So I usually go a lot higher than a lot of those. As a chiropractor, of course, we treat a lot of pain patients. And many times patients come in our office and they're screaming in pain. And my doctors look at them, and one of the first questions we ask is, did you put heat or ice on this? And when they're screaming in pain and can't move, I don't think I've ever seen it in 33 plus years of practice where they didn't put heat on it. So stay away from heat, folks, because heat's going to increase the circulation, which will increase the inflammation, which will make the problem worse. So when you have an injury, new injury, or back pain or neck pain or headaches, I usually don't recommend heat across the board generally. Now, sometimes it's necessary, but across the board, you don't maybe not have those skills to decide that. You can make your own ice packs. It's really easy to make an ice pack. Take a Ziploc bag, fill it about halfway with water, well, maybe a third with water, a third with alcohol, rubbing alcohol. I guess you could use vodka too if you wanted, but awfully expensive. And then zip it up and freeze it. Now, it'll create a slushy. It's not going to freeze all the way so that then you can keep it in your freezer, and you're going to keep it there maybe for months or years. And then one day, you're going to sprain your ankle. You're going to hurt your back in the yard. You're going to think you're a superstar basketball player and you're old and you can't do that anymore. And you're going to need some ice. And you're going to say, thank you, Dr. Joe, for this brilliant idea. And it's almost free. I mean, it's water and alcohol. And just keep it in your freezer. And that's a great thing to have around the house so that you don't have to not have it there. Now, you can put ice cubes in a bag, of course, and that works just as well. But the slushy kind of wraps around and form fits wherever your boo-boo is. One of my big pet peeves, talking to people up close and they got stinky breath. And I'm always amazed when you go to parties and they serve things with garlic in it, like hummus. I love hummus. I think you should eat it. It's wonderful. But it blows my mind that when I have parties, I don't do a lot of them anymore. I used to do a ton of entertaining. I would never put garlic in any of the food. Because at the party, what are you going to do? You're going to talk to the people at the party and you're going to stink. So if you're at work and you don't have time to brush your teeth, or if you have a meeting, a neat little trick you can do, the tooth tricks I'm going to give you. One is eat an apple. Apples dislodge food from your teeth. They cause the saliva to start to flow, and that can counteract plaque and bad breath. Another trick that I do all the time, and you're going to steal this from me because every time I talk about it on the air, people steal it from me, and I want you to, is get some cloves. You know, little things, little cloves, like little buds. Used to stick them in ham. Well, I don't eat ham, of course, or oranges at Christmas. Put a little bag of cloves, maybe just 10 or 12 cloves. I mean, they're really cheap. And put them in a bag and leave it in your car. I have a bag in each one of my suits that I wear, my suit jackets. And what I do is I pop out a clove, and sometimes there's a bud on the end. You could break the little bud off. It's just, you could swallow it. It doesn't matter. And then take the clove and suck on it. And the clove is antibiotic, antiviral, and antifungal. So it kills bacteria in your mouth, and it also gives you an amazing fresh breath. I was at a party the other day. I ran into a friend of mine, and she said, somebody smells great around here. And I said, Gwen, it's me. And she goes, what do you mean? I took the clove, I stuck my tongue out with it on my tongue. She goes, I love that smell. She goes, that's great. And you can tuck it up between your cheek and gum, and you can talk with it. You can kiss with it there, and you always have fresh breath. So it's a neat little trick. And as it dissolves, I want you to chew it and swallow it because it has more beneficial antioxidants than blueberries. How cool is that? So folks, we're giving you little tips that you can do every single day to get well. But the three things you have to have is a normally functioning nervous system, a normally functioning digestive system, and good nutrition. Now, my team of chiropractors, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge if you're in the Atlanta area. We would love to have you come in as patients. So if you'd like to make an appointment, go to my website, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe, number one Dr. Joe in the world, and we can set you up a time to come see us. We take people, we accept most insurances. Many times there's out-of-network benefits. Many times it's just easier not to use the insurance, folks, I'll be honest with you. And it's cheaper for you too. So we want to get you well and keep you well. We want to make it available to you. If you've ever been in a car accident, if the car was damaged, you were damaged. 100% of the time, I don't care what the insurance companies say to you, if the car was damaged, you were damaged. And I can easily document that. So you want to make an appointment, go to my website, drjoeesposito.com, and just Google Dr. Joe. Do it today, folks. So many people come to me and they say, why did I wait so long? Why didn't I do this sooner? And I don't want you to be one of those patients. I want you to be one of the patients who say, wow, I'm so happy that I got care with Dr. Joe's team of doctors, and I'm going to send all my friends. Because we want to get you well and keep you well. And as a patient, if we ever do something you're not happy with, which is rare, please tell us, because we can't read your mind. And I'm always amazed at that. I'm big on customer service, but if somebody doesn't tell us what they need, we can't give it to them. So we want to get you well and keep you well. So make the appointment right now. Hurry up, go to the computer, drjoeesposito.com, and just Google Dr. Joe. We'll get you set up as soon as possible. You want to increase your fiber intake. It's one of the most important dietary changes you can do to lower your blood pressure, help with cholesterol. It's really important because when you go to the bathroom, the fiber in the food and plants swells up in your colon, and your colon has things called stretch receptors. And the stretch receptors fire off, and they cause the bowels to contract, and then you move your bowels. If you're eating low fiber foods, which is what a lot of people eat, the 7 deadly sins: alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, artificial sweetener, breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas, they don't have a lot of fiber in them. And so that food can sit in your colon and essentially rot. And that's not a good thing. So we want to keep you healthy, and fiber's the key. Where do you get fiber from? Plants. But here's the rub. Many studies done, show that fiber can help reduce things like blood pressure and risk of cancer, but not just taking plain fiber like the stuff you buy over the counter. It works. They don't, essentially no results with that. A lot of results when you eat a plant-based diet. So it's the fiber, we scientists believe, it's not just the fiber, it's the nutrients that are found in the fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, the plants, that are beneficial along with the fiber. So it's important that you get your fiber from a whole food source, like Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. Those are whole food sources. It's not synthetic, it's not fractionated. So that's the best place to get your nutrients, is whole food diet. So eating a lot of fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds is going to help tremendously on so many different levels. and the fiber being one of them. So your bowel should move absolute minimum once a day, preferably 2 to 3 times a day. If you're not going to the bathroom at least on a bad day once a day, you're not getting enough fiber, or you could have a pinched nerve in your low back. The nerves in the low back control your back, hips, legs, knees, and ankles, but they also control your colon, sex organs, and bladder. So now you might see gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, urinary problems, sexual problems. The nerves control those organs. So if the organ isn't working, my first thought is let's check the wiring to it and see if there's a problem. And if there is, let's fix the wiring. Pinch nerves. I'm saying nerves are wires here. So my team of chiropractors, we work on unpinching the nerves and opening up the nerve supply. Many times that solves problems that you cannot figure out. Every day, every single day, patients come in our offices and say, Doc, I've had this test, that test, all these other tests, and I can't figure it out. Nobody can figure it out. I've spent thousands of dollars, and everybody says, well, the tests are negative, so I guess there's nothing wrong. Well, that's not true. Just because the test is negative doesn't mean you don't feel pain, or you don't have constipation, or you don't have acid reflux. Something's wrong. So the logical thing we do is check the nerves to see if there's any pinched nerves going to the organs. And so many times that solves the problem. So you may have taken fiber, you may be eating a plant-based diet, it may be a wiring issue. So taking just the fiber isn't going to solve the problem. So we want to open up the nerve supply to the organs to get the body working, and then get your fiber from whole food sources. Breakfast for me, Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source. I also take omega-3 fatty acids, I take an adrenal supplement, and I take a vitamin B supplement. And we have those on my website, drjoeesposito.com, all but the omega-3s. So we have Dr. Joe's B vitamin complex, we have Dr. Joe's adrenal supplements. Most of us, if you're over 30, have some time of burnout in your adrenal glands. The adrenal glands produce energy, they help control inflammation, they produce your sex hormones, they produce your stress hormones too if you're under stress. And so we want to make sure the nerve supply to the adrenals is working, and I give my adrenals nourishment every day. Then I take Dr. Joe's B complex because most of us are deficient in B vitamins. And the good news is this, it's really hard to overdose on B vitamins. So if you take B vitamins, you don't need them, your body flushes most of them out. Just make sure it's a good source of B vitamins. And so that's my and then breakfast is usually a piece of fruit. I think today I had a mango. Sometimes I'll have just a little bit of oatmeal, maybe some raisins in there. And I don't even cook the oatmeal. I just add some coconut milk or almond milk to it. You know, the rolled oats with some raisins or maybe dried cherries. And that's it. Then right around lunch, I usually have a salad unless I have a lunch meeting. But I try to have a salad every day. And even at lunch meeting, I'll go to a place that has a salad bar. And then the people who I'm with can order burgers or chicken or whatever they want. And I'll just eat my salad. And a lot of times if it's a business meeting, it's not about nutrition. It's not about health. It's about something else. Maybe I'm meeting with my landlord to discuss my lease or something like that. So then I don't make food the topic of the of the meeting, but I still can eat what I want to eat. So most of us eat way too much food. If I eat a lot, I put on weight very easily. So I got to be careful what I eat. So eating less of quality food is the key. And then dinner varies. Dinner, maybe I'll go out to dinner. Maybe I'll make my own dinner. I love to cook. I'll have some friends over. I'll make dinner for them. So it's kind of a fun little thing you can do is don't put so much stress on what you're eating. Eat easy, simple, inexpensive foods. And then you have a lot more energy to focus on things like, hot date. Going out and having some fun. Spending time with your family. Learning something new. Listening to Dr. Joe's podcasts on his website, drjoeesposito.com. Also, our podcasts are on Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Play. Just look, the title of the podcast is For the Health of It. And then you could binge listen if you want to. So just throwing it in, I might as well throw a plug in there. But eating your fiber from a whole food source is really something you want to do. And another thing you can do is, I always buy these big shells, these clam shells of organic greens. Now I have a garden too. When it's gardening season, I eat my stuff out of my garden. But I'll just take that and I use a scissor to cut up the lettuce. Because I found that if it's big pieces of lettuce and like a spring mix and you try to eat it, it flops all over the place and you get dressing all over yourself. Now, if you don't know what dressings to make, my first book, Eating Right for the Health of It, has a ton of recipes in it and it has a whole chapter on dressings as well. Or just buy an organic dressing. That's fine too. Folks, got to go to break. If you want to make an appointment to come see us, we are chiropractors. We do chiropractic and nutrition and pain management and digestive issues. We would love to be your doctors. So if you want to do it now. Don't be one of those patients who waits years and then goes, I should have done this sooner because I suffered for years. All my patients sound like Rocky and Bullwinkle, I guess, right? Oh, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat. Go to my website, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe. We accept people with insurances. We have a lot of out-of-network patients that we see anyway. Many times your copay and your deductible is going to cost you more than if you don't use your insurance. If you use your insurance than if you don't. So go to the website right now, drjoeesposito.com. Car accident cases, we'd love to treat you too. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening to For the Health of It. Remember to subscribe to this podcast, and I'll help you naturally get well and stay well. You can also listen to and call into my radio show live Sunday evenings from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on WSBRadio.com and on the WSB Radio app.